Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It is a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. This is your boy, your men's life coach, Rolando. You are in tuned to XY Spark, the podcast for men, where we continue to seek to create a safe space to normalize these conversations about men's mental health and wellness. The theme today, guys, the theme is Take Back Tuesday. Take Back Tuesday. And we're under the caption this morning, how do I get rid of my personal cape? How do you get rid of your personal cape? CAPE. Why, guys? Because today we want to engage in a somewhat challenging conversation because we're aiming to say to more men that listen, your mental health is your responsibility. And we are going to have conversations here about men's mental health. I'm going to tell you guys, if the conversation here gets a little bit too challenging for you, then guess what? It is supposed to be challenging because we are here to say to more men that, guys, listen, it's now or never. We need to take ownership of our journey. We need to start doing more intentional work to address our mental health. We need to start doing better, guys, so that our kids and the women in our society and everybody else can be safer. And if we as men, if we are not sane, if we are not connected, if we're not committed, if we're not intentional about taking care of our mental health, then our mental health is going to continue to just explode, and we're going to have more and more men dying by suicide, more and more homes where the fathers are missing, more and more men being incarcerated and getting into problems with the law, more and more men who are self-harming, more men who are addicts, more men who are um, just wrapped up in, drowning their sorrows in alcohol and unhealthy lifestyle choices. And I'm saying, guys, here at XY Spark, our goal and our aim is to normalize these conversations about men's mental health. We want to remind you guys that we're here 5 days a week, Mondays through Friday at 5:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And wherever you are located around the planet, we want to invite you to come on into this space. This space is your space. Men, I'm telling you right now, this is your space. For the ladies who come and join us every morning, thank you guys for being here. And we appreciate your presence because the XY Spark podcast would not be the same without you. We also want to acknowledge our regular viewers or regular followers. We have some persons who you are here with us every single morning. Live on TikTok, I see you out there. Thank you for being here with us. We are live on TikTok, we're live on YouTube. And guys, we want to encourage you, if you want to hear more of our podcast, please follow us on the XY Spark podcast at xyspark.podbean.com. You can also find us on Spotify, on Amazon, on iHeartRadio. We are all over it. And guys, I'm going to tell you, without your following, without your comment, without you sending those likes and those stars coming, it will not be the same. So, just want to say bright, beautiful Tuesday morning to you. Take Back Tuesday. Shout out to all my TikTok followers. Thank you guys for being here. Just like, share, comment, subscribe. Send the link to your friends and say, hey, it's time for us to talk about men's mental health. Hey, Reds, good to see you again. Reds is one of our regular, very frequent followers here. Reds, I'm going to have to give you that frequent flyer badge. Also, Ronaldo, I saw you were in, you jumped out. Thank you for being here. I see you, Peric. I see you, Ryan Mitchell. I see you, Ace, Hip Hop. I see you, guys. Thank you all for being here. I see you, Peric 705. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the podcast, guys. This is the XY Spark podcast. This is a podcast for men, right? And we talk here, like, guys, about nothing but men's mental health. nothing apart from men's mental health as it relates to men's personal growth and development. So if you are a man and you want to improve your mental health, if you want to improve your personal growth, if you want to have healthy relationships with yourself and with those with whom you interact with your partner, this is a space for you. Guys, I want to tell you guys again, we're also live on YouTube. You can follow our YouTube channel. You can go back and listen to the full podcast episode on our YouTube channel. Please comment if you have a topic that you'd like us to talk about. Please feel free. This is also a space where you can ask any questions. We do offer live coaching calls in the moment right here. And guys, here's a big reality. I'm seeking to give back to the community in this fashion. So, guys, listen, right now I'm telling you, I'm trying to get rid of some of the excuses that are out there. Nobody cares. There's nobody to talk to. There's nowhere to go. Here is a place that you can go. Come to the podcast. All right. You can stay behind the scenes. You can type any question and let's get the conversation going. It is Take Back Tuesday. Today we're talking about how to get rid of your personal cape. And you may ask, what an interesting topic. What is this cape? And today we're going to look at what some of the capes are in our lives. Because as men, we go out there and we live this pretentious lifestyle. A lot of us as men, we do that, right? We live a pretentious lifestyle. We go out and we pretend that everything is okay, everything is hunky dory, when it's not. All right, and we want to go a little deeper to really identify, how do we get rid of our cape? Number one, the number one of the pieces that we want to get rid of as relates to get rid of our cape is we want to stop complaining. Guys, some of us as men, we complain too much. We complain about everything and everyone. We complain about our jobs. We complain about our families. We complain about the government. We are always complaining about something. And if we're going to get ready for our cape, guys, the first C in that word cape is that we have to stop complaining. We complain too much. We have to create a better mindset where we are practicing more gratitude, right? We have to create a better mindset where we're complaining less and we're practicing more gratitude. Find something to be thankful for and stop complaining so much. All right? The guy who sits around and complains does not find solutions. He sinks deeper and deeper into depression. He sinks deeper and deeper into self doubt. He sinks deeper and deeper into demotivation. And I'm saying, guys, if we're going to get rid of our personal cape, we have to move away from complaining to practicing more gratitude and more thankfulness. The second thing that we want to do if we want to get rid of our cape, guys, we've got to change our attitudes. A lot of us as men, we don't want to admit it, but we really have bad attitudes. And some of the attitudes that we have, the irony of it is that the attitudes that we have, some of us as grown men, we can see that we're actually overgrown kids because our behaviors are no way in sync with what it should look like to be an adult. So we have got to change our attitudes. We have to develop an attitude that is more in sync with who we are as persons, right? So if we're going to get rid of our personal cape, guys, many of us, we've got to change our attitude. Our attitudes need to change. And sometimes as men, we don't want to change anything, but we expect everybody else around us to change, right? So we complain a lot and then we have really bad attitudes. And remember, guys, attitude determines altitude. And oftentimes we are stuck in the same space, in the same mindset, because you're not willing to admit that I do have a bad attitude. And how many of us as men are willing to acknowledge that, hey, my attitude needs to change? My attitude is wrong. Sometimes, guys, it's because our attitudes are bad why we're not able to have good, healthy relationships. It's sometimes because our attitude is bad why we may start a relationship, but a short distance down the road, this person decides, hey, I can't be with this guy because attitude. And we want to check to see if we have the right attitude. How are we going to know this? Ask somebody that you trust, right? Connect with someone that you can find in. What do you think I have a bad attitude? But you also need to be brutally honest with yourself to look at, hey, does my attitude need to change? Is my attitude in sync with what is going to help me to have a healthy and happy relationship? So we want to work on changing our attitudes, guys, if we're going to get rid of those personal cape. And sometimes ignorance, guys, does not allow us to open up to change some of our attitude. Hey, I see you. Those who are joining us live on TikTok, thank you for being here. This is the XY Spark podcast, the podcast for men, where we talk about men's mental health. And we seek to normalize conversations about men's mental health. So once you join this live, that's the only thing that you're going to hear us talk about. Because, guys, as men, we don't talk about our mental health enough. And I'm being that voice, and I'm going to be here every weekday morning between 5:30 and 6 a.m. just to talk about men's mental health. That's the goal and the aim of this podcast. Why? We want to save a life. We want to prevent a murder suicide as much as we can. We want to let men know that, hey, guess what? Somebody cares. We also want to let men know that, hey, there is a space where you can come in and you can talk. I see you, Mirza. You say you'd like to be a co-host. Where are you joining us from, Mirza? And we're here just to talk about men's mental health. Where are you joining us from, Mirza? And how could we connect? Tell us a little bit more, Mirza. And guys, I want us to understand this, that as you come into the space and as you seek to be a part of our conversation, we are saying, let this space be a safe space, a healthy space where men can come in and let us have healthy, meaningful conversations. Okay, I see you, Jihadis, you're in Jamaica. Greetings, man. Good to have you. Good to have our followers from Jamaica joining in. We appreciate you. Do we have anybody else join us from any other place around the world? Please just type in the chat here. So, the XY Spot podcast, guys, we're talking about how to get rid of the cape of deception. Because what happens to us is that, oh, you're on vacation. Great, man. It's fun. Hope you enjoy Jamaica. All right. And make sure you go to some of the fun places out there. But thank you for giving us some time out of your vacation. Really appreciate you. Right. So, guys, the cape. We talk about complaining. We talk about changing our attitude sometimes as men. The next thing that we want to work on if we're going to get rid of our personal cape is we've got to stop procrastinating so much. Some of us as men, we've become king at procrastinating, right? Especially as it relates to attending to our mental health, right? As men, we will make time and do everything else, but we are not paying attention to our mental health, right? We see a question here. We say, if men can go outside more often, will it change your mental mindset? Great question. Thank you. And you can keep the questions coming, guys. Wherever you are at, please keep the questions coming. That's a great question. If men can go outside. Now, one of the things that we want to encourage the men to understand is if you're in isolation, then you are depriving yourself of one of the basic things that we need as men to improve our mental health. So definitely getting outside more often is always going to be of more benefit, right? You get fresh air, you get to interact with the community, you get to see the world through a new lens. You get to smell the flowers, you get to experience the winter or the fall or whatever it is. Guys, if we are going to improve and change our mindset, it's going to be important for us to get out more. Absolutely. Go for walks, go for bike rides, go for run. If you're in a place, hey, join a marathon, right? Go for a hike. It is very good to do that. One comment says here, is it healthier to have a couple close friends or a bunch of friends? Great questions. You know, let me say this, guys, that we sometimes as men, we are not able to how do I say it, we're not able to decide or to make the distinction rather between friends and acquaintances. And all of us, we have got to be mindful about, hey, what determines a friend? Because sometimes, guys, we confuse friendship with drinking buddies. We confuse friendship with using buddies. And I'm talking to some of the men who you may find that, hey, this person is my friend. Why? Because we hang out a lot. And what we do when we hang out, we drink beer or we do that sort of stuff. Is that really a friend, or is that just a using buddy? And we have to really take a deeper look at the meaning of friendship, right? So I would say, in response to that question, having real, genuine friends is always a plus. All right, and that's not something that you can pick up at a thrift store, right? Real, genuine friendship takes time to build, takes time to grow, it takes time to expand. So it's a good thing for you if you have some genuine friends, people around you who you can trust. All right, and we are going to talk about that on for a podcast, like what determines friendship and how do you know if someone is really your friend, and what does that look like? Because sometimes some of us as men, out of desperation or the fear of missing out, we sell ourselves cheap. We try so hard to be part of a group or part of a crowd. We try to overcompensate with excessive behaviors. We're the loudest in the group. We try to spend more money than everybody else when we hang out. We try to look as if we are more of the boss in the group than everybody else, because we're desperately trying to fit in. We're trying to make friends, and it's almost if we're trying to buy friends with how much we are doing or saying, and we want to check in to see, is this really a space for me? Is this a good fit for me, right? So getting rid of our personal cape, guys, also means that we have to be mindful about procrastination. If you need to go to the doctor to get a checkup, stop procrastinating. Go and get it done, right? If you have something important to do, stop procrastinating. Go and get it done. If you're in school, you have assignments, stop procrastinating. Get it done, right? It's important to do that. One person saying, that, hey, I have only one friend that I know will be the best man at my wedding. Well, hey, congratulations if you are, if you're about to get married, good on you. All right. And I wish you all the success in the world. And you say you have only one friend. It's great that you have at least one friend. I would say treasure that friendship and continue to build and grow. Okay, that friendship. So thank you guys for the comments, and keep those hearts, keep those likes coming. Just want to reset the room and remind you guys that this is the XY Spark podcast, the podcast for men, where we continue to have conversation about men's mental health and wellness. If you would like to join us live, you can join us live on the podcast at xyspark.podbean.com. You can come in and be a part of the conversation. You can follow us on our YouTube channel as well. It's at XY Spark. You can go back and listen to more of our episodes of this podcast on the Podbean app. What do you think a man and woman should do for each other to keep a healthy marriage? What a powerful question. I feel like I want to talk about these questions, in another episode. But let's address it. What do you think a man and woman should do for each other to keep a healthy marriage? Number one is, if you're going to have a healthy relationship, you yourself, you've got to be healthy. All right. And I say this to persons, and let me give you an example. We all have baggages, right? And the moment you decide that you're going to share your life with somebody else, you need to be brutally honest with yourself and work on yourself so that you can start dealing with some of your baggages. And what I mean baggages, we all have our own past, we have our own traumas, right? We have our own insecurities, right? We have so many different things that we have to deal with. Some of us have scars from previous relationships, right? Broken hearts, right? We need to make the time to make sure that we address that. That's number one, so that when I'm healthy and when you're healthy, we can have a healthier relationship, right? A relationship that's not healthy, and it's harder to have a healthy relationship rather if in the relationship I'm the only person that is constantly dragging my partner up. Sometimes I'm going to drag my partner up. Sometimes I'm going to need them to drag me up, right? It's reciprocal. It works both ways. And having a healthy relationship means that each person has got to take the initiative to be consistent and work on themselves, which is why we say here at XY Spark that personal development is not an event, it's a lifestyle. So, as you and your partner are seeking to engage in making healthy lifestyle choices, it will help you to have a healthier relationship, which means taking the time to work on yourself and doing the work that's necessary so that you can be the best version of yourself. And when you are in a good place, you'll be better able to provide a healthy support for your partner. And when you're in a healthy place, spiritually, socially, psychologically, and emotionally, you can connect with your partner to have a healthier relationship. Number two is, if you're going to have a healthy relationship, you and your partner, you've got to talk more about your relationship expectations, right? Don't shut down and don't try to do it all by yourself, right? Hey, Johannes, thank you. He says, thank you, man. Enjoy your vacation. You gave us some time from all the way in Jamaica. We appreciate you, Johannes. We hope to see you again next time. Peace out, brother. Be blessed. All right. So let's continue our conversations as we talk about getting rid of the cape. So we talk about, complaining, the attitude, the procrastination. Here's the next thing that we have to work on if we're going to get rid of our cape. Stop making so much excuses. Guys, it's so ironic, but we as men, we are really good at making excuses. We find so much excuse. We make so many excuses, right? And sometimes wearing that cape is what it looks like for many of us, because we are constantly making excuses why we can't do something, why we shouldn't do it, why this is right. When sometimes we make excuses because we're not willing to step forward and recognize that this is the reality, this is what's going on, this is what I'm facing, right? It says here, if as men we can be together and form a brother bond relationship, can it change our mindset together? You know what? 100%. And one of the problems that where I'm noticing being in this space as a psychotherapist for over a decade and a half, guys, is that as men, we have not learned how to create a safe space where we are able to talk about stuff like our mental health, right? When one man decides to talk to another man, if the man is not mature enough and if he's not grounded enough, when a man says to another man, "Hey, I'm struggling with my mental health," if the person that he's sharing that with is not mature, he will start to make him feel lesser than a man, right? And that is what hurts a relationship. That is what harms a relationship. So, if as men we learn more how to connect, to talk to each other about our mental health, and to say to the brother, "Hey, listen, man, I hear you. How can I support you? Let's do the work together. Go and talk with somebody, connect with somebody who can support you," it becomes a lot more effective. So you are right here, to my listener, Rez, because absolutely, if we can form a brother bond relationship, and I like the term, right? And I'm going to quote you, Rez. Form a brother bond relationship, right? A relationship where, as men, we're not judging each other. We're not looking down on the brother. We're not, saying negative things to him. We're not ask him to. No, we're saying, hey, brother, listen, I get you, I feel you. What do you want us to do? How can I support you? And let him know that you appreciate him being bold enough to come out of his comfort zone and share with you. And you now, as a brother, you are not going to use that as an opportunity to disgrace the brother or to make the brother feel less than, right? Confidentiality, someone trusts you. If a man trusts another man to tell him that he's struggling with his mental health, see that as a strength. And don't see it as, okay, I have one up on you. See it as a strength and support the brother to get healthy supports so that he can heal. This is what we have to do, right? This is how we will break the stamina of the stigma about men's mental health, because guys, if the stigma is not broken, we're going to continue to struggle with our mental health. All right. So we have to break away from wearing this cape. The cape, this cape, the C, stop complaining. The A, change your attitudes. The P, move away from procrastination. And the E, stop making excuses. If we guys get rid of that cape, we will start connecting more. We will start evolving more. We will grow to become more effective and more energized and empowered men. So guys, I'm putting a challenge to you. Today's Take Back Tuesday. Based on our discussion today, what are some of the things that you need to take your life back from? Are you someone that likes to complain a lot? Maybe today's the day for you to take your life back from that. Or are you someone that just has a bad attitude? Well, maybe today's the day that you need to take your life back from that. Are you someone that, procrastinates a lot? You're procrastinating constantly. Well, today could be the very day for you to take your life back from that. Are you someone that you constantly make excuses? Someone speaks to you about something, you make an excuse. You always find an excuse. You're always being defending your point. You're constantly stuck in that space where you're making excuses. Well, this could be the day when you need to take your life back from that and take the lead and start being more intentional to say to yourself, I'm tired of wearing this cape of deception. It's not helping me to grow. It's not helping me to heal. It's not helping me to have a healthy relationship. It's not getting me to where I want to go. And I'm saying to you guys right now, it's time for you to take your life back. Let it start today. This is your boy, your men's life coach, Rolando. Just before we wrap our episode up, we want to remind you that the xyspark podcast is the podcast for men. And we continue to encourage men to talk about their mental health. Why? Because mental health is not a myth. And no man is immune to being impacted by mental health. We also like to remind you that personal development is not an event, it's a lifestyle. But this lifestyle will come to fruition if and only when we continue to make the effort to be transformed. We just remind you guys that this mindset makes a man or breaks a man. That is our quote for today. Mindset makes a man or breaks a man. Where's your mindset at? And if you want to get rid of this cape, I say this to you. Take the hold of the reins so that you can get something done. This is your boy, your men's life coach, Rolando. Thank you for joining us. And before we go, we want to remind you that join us again tomorrow morning, right here on the podcast, where we continue our conversations about men's mental health. as you go. Have a great day. And remember that at XY Spark, we believe that there is a spark in you. Do have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys again next time. Peace out.